Hello everybody and welcome to Bird's Nest Designs. My name is Denise Cox. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Canada. And today I am really excited to share with you a card created for my monthly Hostess Club. This is card number 1. There are going to be 3 cards in this series. All of them feature the Season of Chic stamp set and the coordinating Chic dies, which are available as a bundle in the Stampin' Up! Annual catalog. So it's an entire product suite and it is gorgeous. So if you haven't checked that one out, please do so. There will be links to my store in the description of today's video and you can check them out there as well. So first thing, let's get stamping. This card is created using Petal Pink, Soft Suede, and Early Espresso ink colors. It's a combination of those colors to create a beautiful thank you card. So I'm starting with a Petal Pink. I'm just going to set this aside. I'm starting with a Petal Pink card base. And this base measures 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. So here in North America, that is just an 8.5 by 11-inch piece of cardstock cut in half and then scored in half to create your card base. So we can go ahead and fold that on the score line. And I always like to use my bone folder to crisp up that edge so it lays nice and flat. Here's the card we're creating. Now, first thing we want to do is from the Textured Chic designer paper, isn't that gorgeous? We are going to use this stunning paper. This is my favorite piece from that whole collection. We're going to use the polka dots. I love polka dots. I love pink. It's perfect. So this is going to get layered right on top like so. So this measures 4 by 5 1/4, and all the measurements are in inches, of course. Look at those seashells on the back. Aren't they pretty too? I know. This piece of paper is absolutely stunning. So we're just going to attach that using Stampin' Seal. Oops. Trying to get it even. Just like so. Okay, so there is the start of our card. Then from the celebration brochure that is currently happening till the end of August, this is a piece of the gold and silver 6x6 designer series paper. And that is going to get attached just right across that designer paper like that. So I love mix matching patterns when they coordinate so beautifully. And so the gold, oops. The gold in both of these pieces tie them together, and it's a really good way to use multiple patterns. So we're just going to attach that across edge to edge, just like so. Now, I've gone ahead and I've cut out from the deckled rectangles dies, this rectangle here, and this one. If you're making this card at home, this is the one that measures about 2 1/8 by 3 1/2. So using dimensionals, we're going to put a dimensional in each of the 4 corners, and there is a reason why. I'm getting them nice and tight to the corner because we are going to then layer some die cuts in and around and tuck them inside, so we don't want the dimensionals to get in the way. Now, because the dies are small, we can put one in the center as well to keep this nice and straight. And by straight, I mean level, so it's not concaving and not sagging in the center. So that can just get adhered. We're layering it a little bit over top of that gold striped paper, just like that. Now we've also got a piece in our kit, and if you're not in our club and you're making this along, you just need a scratch piece of paper, basic white, for doing some stamping. So we're going to stamp these beautiful flowers and the thanks. So from the Season of Chic, that would be both images for the floral and then your thank you sentiment. So we're going to start by using Petal Pink, and we're going to use the image, the floral image here, that's the more solid of the two, And we're going to stamp that 3 times. Because we want to have 3 of these. Okay. And then we can stamp our thanks using Early Espresso. So, and then we can close that up. And then we're going to bring in our soft suede and just a stamp off piece of scrap paper. So this is just the back side of a piece of grid paper. And what I'm going to do is use soft suede. And the outer image, so this is the one that has the lines from the second floral. And the reason I want the scratch paper is I want to stamp it off and then onto my card. I don't want this to be really, really dark. Oh, and I should have lined this up. I had this in my head, there we go. So I don't want it to be a super dark image. I do want it to be a little bit lighter, so that's why we do the stamp off technique. I'll do the same for this third one. Perfect. Now it doesn't matter if they line up perfectly or not. Mine are all pretty good, but if it didn't, like here it doesn't, I'm not worried about that at all. So we can get rid of that and close up our ink pads. And then I'm going to use my mini Boss machine, which is what I termed my mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, because that's just a mouthful. So from now on, I'm just going to call it my mini Boss. And we're going to take our plate, so you need number 1 and then a number 2 and then your paper. So remember, if you're using your mini Boss, then you do need to keep your paper to 3 inches wide. Otherwise it won't fit and won't go through. Actually, well, 3 1/4 to 3 1/2 is the actual width. Mine's a little bit long, but I think it'll still go through. Okay, then from your Chic dies, as I mentioned, these are gorgeous. You get a ton of dies in here too, which is awesome. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to die cut out all 3 of these flowers. Now there is no die cut for thanks, so we'll come back to that and we're going to fussy cut that out. But while I die cut these, I'm just going to quickly pause the video so that you're not watching me die cut and having the whole screen bounce up and down. So bear with me, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. And with the magic of video, I didn't have to shake the camera and have you watch me die cut. So I've die cut those 3 flowers that we previously stamped. And then I have the thanks. So the thanks, as I mentioned, does need to be fussy cut. And we're just going to quickly go around that. And when you're fussy cutting, I like to leave a white border because number 1, it's a little bit more forgiving. Makes it easier. If it's thicker in some spots, thinner in some spots, it's really not a big deal. And I like to turn the paper to give me more stability as opposed to turning the scissors. So we're just going to fussy cut this out. Sometimes it's just, you might be thinking, well, why don't we just leave it as a square, as a rectangular sentiment? But sometimes it just really adds to it to have the die cut like this. And of course, as much as we probably all would love Stampin' Up! To have a die cut for every single stamped image, how many of you are thinking that exactly right now? I agree, it would be nice, but it's not really feasible. So the odd ones, we don't get the die cuts, but we are able to just fussy cut them out when we want to, which is awesome. And this won't take but a minute to do. It does give a really nice. Now, as you can see, I could have went way in there and got a little more fussy. This is your project, so you do you. And if you want to go all the way in, then do. And if not, then just cut around the word as much as you want. Some of you who are making this might just be like, nope, I'm good with the rectangle, and that's totally cool too. It'll look beautiful regardless. This is such a pretty sweet. And what I love is, if you've noticed on stamp set here, it's got something for every occasion. And in my Hostess Club, where I featured this bundle because I wanted to do cards for all seasons. So we're doing this one, which is like a spring, summery kind of card. And then the other two, one of them is a fall card and one is a very summer beachy card. So you can do snowflakes too and do winter. There's just so many options. I'm not ready to admit that winter's going to be here before we know it. So I didn't do a winter one. All right, so now we've got all our cuts done. Using the dies, I have pre-cut a few of the other elements we're going to need. So this is what I'm terming the crisscross. And so that is this gorgeous die here, cut out of Petal Pink. And then using the distressed gold foil paper or specialty paper, which is also part of the product suite if you buy the entire suite, I've die cut 2 of these florals, which is this die here. And then using Pear Pizzazz, I've cut out 2 of each of the leaf die cuts that are also featured here in the set. So that's these 2. I don't know if you guys can see where I'm pointing to. Those are those 2 there. Lots of options with this beautiful set. Okay, so we're gonna start adhering. Now, first thing we're going to do is put our crisscross over top. Now, again, we could use what I term the fussy glue, which is this fine tip glue pen. But honestly, I have more luck, and this is totally a preference, I have more luck using my multi-purpose. And the reason that I'm going to use this is I'm not gonna make sure it's like all adhered down. I'm only gonna choose a few little spots like so and stick this down on a diagonal. The reason I'm not worried about it being stuck everywhere is because, as you can see, we're gonna have all these other clusters on dimensionals, which is totally gonna hold it down. So there's no reason to get really crazy with our adhesive. Okay, so once that's on, let's go ahead. We're going to take one of our flowers, and I'm gonna be a little bit strategic here. So when I die cut, this one did move a bit on me. This is the one that was stamped a little off. So I'm gonna take this one with the bigger white border, and I'm gonna tuck that one in right there. So a little bit of glue, and tuck that guy in like so. Now you'll notice I didn't put glue on this side. That's because I'm now gonna take one of the larger die cut leaves, and I'm just gonna lift that up and tuck that in there. Okay, and then last thing I wanna add to this little cluster is one of these die cut distressed gold florals. And that's kind of gonna go in here under the flower. Oh, I should have maybe put that one down first. Oh, it's not quite dry. Okay, there we go. So you just kind of want that, and then if you wanted to, you could lift up your leaf and layer them together. Just kind of have some fun. Which is another reason why I like to have glue on just sections of it and not the whole thing, because then you kind of have that room to play around with it. Okay, now let's take our other distressed gold floral, a little bit of glue, and that one is going to get tucked in right down here in the bottom right corner underneath our rectangle. And then one of the smaller leaves, you need very little of this glue. That can come kind of over here. Okay, now we're gonna take some Stampin' Dimensionals, and what we're gonna do is adhere the remaining 2 florals. So I'm gonna look at mine, and I'm gonna pick the better of the 2, which I think is this one. It's a little bit better even, and I'm gonna make that my feature focal one here. Okay, and then I'm going to take my second one, put a couple of dimensionals on the back, and this is just going to get kind of tucked over here in the corner. I end up with those dimensional backings everywhere. I'm sure you guys are probably the same. I find them in the strangest places. So there I've just added 2 more. The other day I was following Linus, my puppy, up the stairs, and he's black, and we're following up the stairs, and he was covered in little white dimensional backings up his back. It was quite hilarious. He likes to nose into my trash bin here in my craft room. He loves paper, so he had them all over him. All right, so then we've got those bumped up. The next thing we're gonna do is tuck in these last 2 leaves, just kind of here, like so. So we can do that with our multi-purpose glue. And then the last one. Kind of like that. Now for the thanks, what we're gonna do with this one is we're going to use our mini Stampin' Dimensionals. And we may even have to cut some of them, even though they're already mini, because you can see this isn't a very large image. There's not a lot of spaces here. So I'm gonna go ahead and just take my paper snips and just kind of cut a few of these in half. And then we can go ahead and use those wherever you can find the room to fit them. I don't like it when you can see the white once it's attached. I don't want to see the dimensional from the front of my card. So just tuck those in there. Okay, so as long as you have, you know, 4 or so on there, and it kind of is going to be a balance, 1 on each end, a couple in the center, it should be good. So I've got those 4 spots there. And then we're going to take our thanks. And I'm not too worried about it being super straight because it is script, so you're not even really, it doesn't need to be straight. Poke it down like that. And there we have the front of our card finished. Now for the inside, I love these flowers so much that I decided I wanted to recreate them and show some love to the inside of our card as well. So on a 4 by 5 1/4 piece of basic white, I'm just gonna stamp a couple of those flowers in the corner. I am gonna bring my scratch paper in again, and we'll need Petal Pink. I'm tying in the front to the inside. It's sort of my, it's usually my go-to, right? We just wanna have it all tied together. Oh, and look at me, I was doing it in the wrong, so we're gonna have them on the left-hand side instead of the right on this card, just because of the way I had my paper. And then put that off to the side. Grab our soft suede once again, and then I am still gonna do the stamp off technique, and I'm gonna have to line these guys up again. Oh, my stamp is very dirty. It's a little hard to see here. Oh my goodness, again, I should have done that. Oh, stamp off. And then on, I almost forgot. Okay, stamp off. And then, oh heavens. Definitely a little trickier when your stamp is as dirty as this one is. So let's go ahead and give that a little wipe off. If I can find my cleaning cloth here. Okay, we're gonna try that again. Sorry guys. Just a little hard to see when you're trying to line up a super filthy stamp. There we go, just like that. Doesn't help when the camera's riding over top either. Okay, there we are. There's the center. And then we can of course just go ahead and glue that into the inside of our card. And you can choose where you want your flowers. So actually, you know what? I think for this one, I might just really switch it up and put them in the top right. So just a wee bit of Stampin' Seal. There we go. There is our first card in this series of 3 for the Season of Chic stamps. These are cards I've designed for my monthly hostess club. It's a virtual club, so we don't meet in person. Everybody places their order, has it either delivered to me if you're local or delivered to your doorstep if you're anywhere else in Canada. And then of course I follow up, I send you the card kits with a full PDF link so you can download the instructions. And this month, because I'm going to be away at Backstage when we would normally do our Zoom class, I'm going to do videos, and I thought I would share them with everybody. If you're interested in joining my host club, I'm always looking for new members, and that information can be found on createwithbirdsnest.ca or by emailing me at birdsnestdesigns@gmail.com. All right, so thank you so much for watching. Happy stamping. If you liked today's video, please like it, leave me a comment, and of course subscribe to my channel. And yes, watch for the next 2 videos featuring the season of Chic. Happy stamping, everybody. Cheers.